Okay, let's talk about how to use Eclipse. So here we just have a blank, it's kind of a blank canvas, and so we want to go ahead and write some code. So what we're going to do is with Java programming, what we have are projects. Now think of a project as this big rubber band around things. So I'm going to click File, I'm going to point to New, and there I have a Java project. So I click on that. And the first thing that's going to come up is going to say, what do you want to call this? Now we cannot use any spaces, periods, just basically, and we always start our projects with a capital letter. So I'm going to go ahead and call this Chapter 2 Example. Okay, and I'm just going to take all the defaults. That's all we're going to use in this class, the defaults. I'm going to click Finish. And when we get done, I now have this Chapter 2 example over here. Now when I do that, when I click on the expand over here, now first off you're going to see a source folder, and that's where the source code goes. And if I click on this, expand this JRE system library, there's a whole bunch of things in there, and they're called jars. What a jar is think of a jar as code that's already written and supplied for you. So there's going to be certain things that we're going to have access to, and all of that code is basically in these jars. We're not going to worry about that, but just realize they're there. So if I want to add something, I'm going to go ahead and do a right click on this source folder. I'm going to point to New, and we're going to create a new class. Okay, so we always have classes, and again we'll get more into that in chapter 2, but we're just going to go step through this to basically show you how to write some code. So I click class. Now here we have to always start it with an uppercase letter, no spaces, no periods, no special characters, and I'm going to call this Hi Mark. Okay, and I'm just going to, again, I'm going to take well, in this case we are going to check one thing off. We're going to click this thing that says public static void main. So that what that allows us to do is make this an executable class. And I'm going to go ahead and click Finish. All of a sudden it will pop up in my screen, and here is public static void main. Now I'm going to basically click right down here below this to do auto generated, and I'm just going to go ahead and type sys SYSO, and then I'm going to hold down the control key on my keyboard and hit the space bar. And when I do that, it automatically puts that line of code in there. I'm going to put 2 double quotes, and inside those double quotes I'm going to say Hi Mark, and then that is it. Okay, that's all we want to do. I'm going to go ahead now. Notice I've got 2 save buttons. I've got a single and a double. In this case, it doesn't matter which one I click because I've only got one file. But if I had multiple files I was editing, I would click on the save all. It saves all changes. And then what I can do is I can click either. I can click on this little drop. See this little green circle with the triangle? I can click on the drop down arrow next to it, and I can say run as a Java application. And when I do, whatever we run will be displayed down inside of this console, and down there you notice it now says Hi Mark. Okay, we're going to get a lot more detail once we get into chapter 2, but this is basically to help you get through the homework for chapter the basically second half of chapter 1. Okay, again, call me if you have any questions at all.